Hey everyone, it's Alex and welcome to this Marvel Snap new card review of Copycat, the latest card to hit Marvel's Snap. And if you're looking for a review on Deadpool's Diner, don't worry, stay tuned. That'll be coming out in its own dedicated video shortly after this one. So hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. But most importantly, let's talk about Copycat. Right off the bat here, I'm going to waste no time. I think Copycat's fantastic, but it has some risks associated with it. It's not the perfect card, okay? Let me explain. First, spotlight cash-wise, you have Thanos, you have Cull Obsidian, and you have Copycat. If you don't have those cards, this is an insane week. Roll. Just roll, okay? If you have the keys, Copycat's good. Thanos is literally at some point going to be breaking the meta again. And Cull Obsidian is just fantastic. It's been a great card in so many different shells, whether it be Thanos, of course, or even Zoo and others, okay? The cards are great. The spotlight caches are really strong this week, so definitely ship it if you're interested. Copycat specifically. Now, I have a whole bunch of positive things to say and one major drawback. Positively, 3/5 body, very strong. Even if you don't play her, having the information of like, oh, they don't have their Shang-Chi, they don't have their Hela, they don't have their Blob. It's awesome. It's so awesome. Having that information is huge, okay? So that is hugely beneficial. The effect is often pretty good. Like I stole their Forge. Now I had a 3/5 Forge. Like that was crazy and allowed me to do some pretty cool combo stuff with Surfer. It's a good card. It's just a good card. And generally speaking, the effect that you steal is going to be beneficial. It's going to be pretty damn solid, and she has a good like statted body that, you know, even if you pull something like a Nova or something like that, doesn't matter. Like that's kind of like a nothing, who cares type thing. But she's still just a 3/5 at worst, right? And now you know they can't use their Nova combo or whatever. But hey, you can hit Deadpool. I hit Kitty Pryde, which is fantastic because it killed their Kitty Pryde. I was bouncing Copycat. It was pretty neat, right? Anyways, I think the card is really good, but the risk is very, very straightforward. Marvel Snap is a 12-card game. That's how you build a deck with 12 cards, unless you're an Arishem gamer, Arishem, Agatha, and Thanos gamer. But what I mean to say is that those cards are usually put into a deck because they're highly synergistic. They work together to give yourself an unfair advantage against your opponents. Copycat has almost no synergy. She doesn't really synergize with any deck. Like she feels like the most cuttable card in so many decks, while still being so damn good at the same time. That's the challenge she has. There's currently nothing that really benefits from the steal text. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, okay, she steals a text from the card. That's cool. Okay. But that's it. Like, if you think about, like, okay, Cable synergizes with Quinjet. That's different. That's a whole different thing, right? There's no synergy like that. Even in some of the decks we were testing, and I'm going to showcase the decks shortly, it just felt like I could cut Copycat. I like Copycat. I like what she's doing. I feel like she's probably making the win rate stronger, but there's probably a more synergistic card. You can't just add Copycat to destroy. You can't just add Copycat to, move. Actually, it kind of felt like I couldn't even just add Copycat to Surfer, even though I could, and I did. It does not work in Mill, and I'll explain why shortly. But, like, it felt like it is a kind of card that can go anywhere, but belongs nowhere. And that's the key risk. It feels competitive. It feels strong. I think it's going to be a very good tournament and conquest card. But regular ladder, I can see it being cut. It feels like the 12th card of every deck. With that being said, though, I like it a lot. But that's the risk. It just might not make the cut for decks that are highly synergistic with each other, okay? And most decks are. You don't play a Nomura on reveal deck and like just throw in a fun like, oh, you know what? I'll just throw Captain America in there. You don't do that, right? You don't just throw random cards into your decks. They're highly synergistic. And that's Copycat's risk, okay? But overall, I think the card's great, but that's the only thing that I would be concerned about. Let's talk about the decks, okay? There's a couple major learnings deck-wise here. Okay, this was my favorite deck that I played. I've been doing this like Darkhawk, Ravonahawk thing for a while now because we're in this tricky spot where like, unfortunately, Arishem's everywhere, and Darkhawk is basically a tech card against Arishem. That's literally what it is, okay? And I was doing like Rock Slide and Korg and stuff, and that's better against like non-Darkhawk decks. But I was playing against so much Arishem still. I was like, you know what? I'll just use Darkhawk as a tech piece against that. Go with the Kitty Pryde Tina package. And remember, you can still win games massively with an Iron Man Mystique on turn 6, okay? Because of what Ravonna Renslayer can do. Copycat was solid in this deck. It gave a lot of information. It was a natural inclusion. But it wasn't like required, but it was just really good in this deck. So if you're looking to play some ladder or some Deadpool's Diner or whatever, and you want to play Copycat and you have these cards, go for it. If you're missing Sage, by the way, Okay, Wolfsbane is an excellent replacement because it actually works similarly to Sage, and it works with Ravonna Renslayer, so that's probably like the key card a lot of people are missing here. But regardless, this was my favorite deck by far. But as I said, we had some learning that we did as I can't find the, there it is, there's the mouse pointer there, okay? We tried Mill. Do not play this deck, it sucked. The reason why it sucked was because I ended up saying this on the Snapchat where I was concerned that Baron Zemo and Copycat, they might step on each other's toes. You might actually, you know, pull the text off the lowest power card, and then Zemo pulls a discount, like a card that's just like you just sold the text of. And that kind of sucks. You're disrupting yourself, if anything, right? So I did find that happening quite a bit. I find myself, you know, you Copycat and then you steal it with Cable. You're like, oh my gosh, that was useless. Or you Zemo it, or, you know, whatever, you Yondu it by accident. Like you Copycat starts in your hand, you play Yondu, and then you Yondu the card you just stole the text of. You're like, useless, right? So that stuff was happening quite a bit, to the point that Copycat didn't feel like it belonged here, okay? So just a quick heads up there. We tried Surfer. This is the Surfer deck we ended up on, and I liked it because we were having difficulty against Arishem. We needed tech against Arishem, so I included Shadow King, and we included the Shang-Chi. The deck was pretty good. I thought it was all right. It worked pretty well, and ultimately, I felt like Silver Surfer was not doing a great job of competing against Arishem. It felt like it had a chance, right? I almost felt like cutting like the Shadow King or the Shang-Chi for a Negasonic, because then that way we have like, okay, we have initiative, we can deal with Blob. We don't have initiative, we can deal with Blob. Whereas both Shadow King and Shang-Chi, like you want to throw initiative for. So I wanted to give some thought to the way that could potentially work. But regardless, I thought it was pretty good. Just so you guys know, if you're curious, this is the Surfer deck we started with. This was definitely built around the idea of like, okay, can we do the Darkhawk package with Sarah? It was okay. On turn 5, I could play Sarah, and then you could play like Darkhawk +1, because you'd be able to play like Darkhawk Rock Slide with 6 energy, of course, right? But also, if you didn't draw Sarah, you could just play the Darkhawk and then try to do something else with it. You didn't have Mystique in this deck, but ultimately, it felt like kind of wonky to pilot, so I did prefer the other one more. Here's an interesting deck that I wanted to showcase you guys. I didn't have much of a chance to test it too much, but I had this idea of like this knowledge is power deck where it's like we have Daredevil, we have Kang, okay, we have Copycat, and all these cards that really try to give us information while also setting up like, you know, a Professor X play, while also kind of setting up the Ravonna into all the goblins. I even thought about playing Galactus in this deck, but I couldn't figure. I was like, do I cut Professor X for Galactus? Maybe, right? Is that cope? I don't know. I was trying to do something a little fun there. I didn't quite get to it. So if anybody wants to like take this type of design and try to run with it a little bit, this is something I'd show you there. But anyways, Copyhawk was by far my most successful deck, the one I had the most success with, and the one that I had the most fun with as well. So if you're looking for any particular deck, this would be the one. But again, just as a quick sum up here, I do like Copycat a lot. I think she's a fantastic card. The only risk, of course, is that she might ultimately be cuttable due to her lack of synergy in current decks and archetypes. But overall, she feels like one of the best draft cards. If there was a draft mode in this game, how great would a draft mode be? That's a whole other conversation. But if there was a draft mode in the game, Copycat would be like one of the best cards in the game. Perfect card in those circumstances. But when you have highly synergistic decks like this one, right? She works very well. But also, it's like, well, I could put like another Ravonna card in there, right? I could put Pro X. I could put, you know, and that's where Copycat starts to suffer slightly, okay? Guys, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Hit that like button if you like to support my content. But most importantly, I hope you enjoy these gameplay highlights. Warcraft Rumble has continued to see major updates to the base game, including Season 7, which is going to be introducing a brand new territory into Warcraft Rumble, Moonglade, which is going to provide players with an opportunity to play 5 brand new campaign missions. And trust me, that's not all. Warcraft Rumble is also introducing the Cenarian family of heroes and minis, which are now available in the game. First, you have Cenarius himself, one of the heroes in the Cenarian family. He can AoE heal allies, AoE root enemies, and is a great choice for leading new minis like the Moonkin into battle. And one of my favorite units being added to the game is the Ancient of War, which can be played at any cost and has its stats adjusted based on how much you spent to deploy it. With the release of Season 7 will also be a 3-week festival known as the Cenarian Festival, where we'll have Cenarian-themed surges, dungeons featuring the Cenarian leadership, and also, of course, the opportunity to experiment with the Cenarian family in surges to give you a chance to level up your minis and complete your collection. Warcraft Rumble is free and available on Android and on iOS-based devices, so if you're interested in checking out Season 7 for yourself, use the link in the description and in the pinned comment down below. If you're playing and not really gathering the bubs, like, you have to risk it to, you gotta risk the biscuit to go forward, right? And actually, oh, That's a 3/5 Captain Marvel. That's a fantastic hit. And we can copy it. That's pretty good, man.
Opponent snapped.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Do I Hope Summers here? Hope Summers into Copycat. I'm just going to keep playing Copycat here. I don't think we need to play Hope Summers. I really like the fact that she has the text for Captain Marvel. Now, she'll reveal first, then the second one will reveal second type thing. We're going to have a whole bunch of copycats zipping around here. So, Darkhawk's effectively useless here.
Oh, snap.
We don't get to draw Sarah. They get the Elsa benefit there. Let me see. They played 3 cards. It's Jeff.
Snap.
Okay, the bulbs are automatically doubling here. We have 7 energy. Let's see this. So they're giving right, which is key, because now this one has the optionality to move here at the end to win. So this might be an absolute dub from the Copycat. Based on the logic we should see from Captain Marvel. This will resolve, then the last one will resolve and come left. We test it right now.
Higher, further, faster, baby.
Stays mid,
Higher,
comes left.
further, faster, baby.
That's awesome. Yes. For 35,000 bucks. That is Copycat gameplay. I've been really liking Copycat though. I feel like this is good. This is a really good card. I like the fact that like they don't know I've taken it. It might get shuffled into their deck now. Big Sag, they have no idea. Listen. The bub gameplay, the bub life is a hard life. You just gotta believe. You gotta believe. Better. That's kind of where my head's at. What the hell was that? Is that like some drunken bot gameplay?
Snap.
They just snap on me? No, that's their auto. That's the auto snap.
Oh, snap.
You're a good person. I appreciate you. Thank you. Have I not ended my turn? I think the game's bugged. It won't let me end my turn.
Doom rules all.
Nice early Doc Doom.
Snap.
Like a glove?
Opponent snapped.
How can she snap? Do you think they just like blob me mid? Three, four, 5. They can't blob me everywhere. They actually made the low percentage blob play. Let's go! 35,000 bobs right to your boy. Dodging the blob. We would have smashed him there anyway. We were trying to play against the Eliath there. Very nice, very clean win. All right, all right.
Opponent snapped.
We're snapping very early here. See what happens. Might be too early to play here like that. We can't even Red Guardian her. Okay, so they lose Thena. They also killed the White Widow, which is the Widow's whatever. Widow should have been played mid. It's fine.
Snap.
Okay, that's the auto snap. Did they just draw their card? Did you hear the sound effect? Did we just hear the sound effect? Did you hear that? I might actually go JJ here.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, Korg shuffle. We're in an okay position here. They can't win mid without feeding our Darkhawk. We can Darkhawk +1. I see. To play here, they lose. Let's go with the original line.
Who's ready for Deadpool and Wolverine? Babby.
Ooh, that's a close one. That's a close one. We win by 1. Let's go. That's 40,000 bubs. 40,000 bubs with Copycat Surf. Oh, we've played this person a few times. We've played this person a few times. They are an Airsham player. We know that. We have confirmation of Airsham gameplay. We're gonna do this. Shang-Chi's gonna be one of our plays there.
Snap.
I wish it differentiated between like their snaps, my snaps, etc. Of course. Doc Ock turn 4, classic gameplay. Exactly what we expect.
Snap.
We have their blob.
Opponent snapped.
They've snapped on us. We don't want to blow up our stuff yet. So they're obviously going to steal this, right? They're going to have Enchantress. They're going to have something.
All systems go.
Interesting Uatu gameplay. I almost want to save the Iron Man. Iron Man Mystique's too good, though. I think I have to play Iron Man. They're going to kill this Darkhawk. I have to win these 2 lanes. Ah, Drax.
I am Iron Man.
Oh, snap.
Mystique. Athena's pretty bad. I think you do this. Prevent Shang-Chi from working. Whatever they do here to Darkhawk. They can't blob. They can't Darkhawk me. This is... We're adding a lot of power here. Shang-Chi middle's rough, yeah. 24, 9. Let's do it this way. Let's counterplay Shang-Chi middle. I don't think we gap it, though. Shit. I needed that power, honestly.
Who they dig up
Oh!
this time?
No one Baku. Yes!
Victory.
600,000 bubs! That was so close. So unbelievably close. That Killmonger was very well positioned to destroy us. Copycat being their blob. Gave us the information we knew that they can blob us. That was close. If they had the answer from a Shang-Chi perspective, they would have beat us for sure.